So I am going to record this so I can express myself and hopefully feel better, as I have been meaning to not keep everything contained inside of my body. And the only way I can feel better about what I deal with is if I express it. So I have not made a video in a long time because I just did not want to. I was prioritizing taking care of myself, which was really hard and is very difficult when in unfortunate circumstances that drain you. You know, it's like reaching your limit, your breaking point, and only being able to withstand so much. So like I have been severely depressed to the point where I struggle with my day-to-day tasks, and taking care of myself has felt like a chore, and it has become too much. And I think another thing as to why it has become too much is there is constantly this need to take care of yourself, love yourself, especially in a more spiritual perspective. It's always being pushed to stand in your power and to take control, and there's just always these different ideologies of what you need to do. You must do this, you must do that. And it's gotten to the point where all of the healing and shadow work and all of the things that are constantly thrown around has just become too burdensome for me. And my whole journey has been about self-love and self-discovery. But now it's gotten to the point where it's like I'm having to try my best to love myself in a very enduring situation, one that is not very gracious to me. And all I can do is just be as kind and as patient and as gentle with myself as I can be. And it is extremely difficult. And I don't know if I want to go into great detail. Because at this point it feels like, while expressing is great, it feels like just reliving energies that I don't feel like processing right now. I mean, just doing this is a lot to process. I just feel like, obviously I've expressed before that I am just dealing with a very challenging situation that has taken a toll on my physical health and well-being. And instead of like completely, like, I did prioritize caring for myself, but instead of that being what I thought I needed, or what I guess I felt I needed, which is I felt I needed extreme care and gentleness and patience. And because my situation feels dire, I am in survival mode, and it triggered fight or flight responses to act out of urgency. I inadvertently was doing the opposite of caring for myself by pushing so hard to figure out my life and to get myself out of certain situations that I really did not have the control to really change at this moment. And I kept trying to push and force things to happen, and nothing ever happened. And it created far more turmoil, and it created confusion and a lot of grief because I've done so much work, and I feel like I'm just not understanding why things are still persisting as they are, and it's really affecting me. And it's just created, I mean, well, it's created burden, but my source of burden has not been from this instance, or just this, not this instance, but this specific issue. My source of burden has been from lifelong experiences that have just been fucking traumatic. But I guess this has reached its peak. With what I can manage and what I can deal with. And I just cannot do much more of this. And it's not well for my mental health. It's not well for my well-being at all. Enduring and dealing with this shit. And I've tried to surrender control, and I've tried to do all of the many things that I know is necessary to stop the chaos brought about by just trying to figure everything out, because I don't know what is really happening in my life other than that I'm closing out cycles. And what bothers me so much is the fact that I am trying very hard and working very diligently to overcome certain cycles and chapters. And anytime I do a tarot reading for myself, I am confirmed by certain cards, or confirmed with certain cards, or wait, how do I word that? I'm confirmed of me closing out cycles with the cards that I pull, like the World and Wheel of Fortune and Judgment, and me being at the 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords. Those are like numbers indicating reaching the end of a cycle, a very long and egregious cycle. And I've pulled also many other various cards that reflect that I've put in so much effort and work into discovering who I am and obtaining my sovereignty from energies that were there to teach me how to be in my power completely. But I think it just gets to a point where you're tired and you've done enough healing work and enough work in general, and the constant reiteration of there being work is exhausting me and draining the life out of me, and I just cannot manage it, and my body is screaming for rest and stillness, not more forcing, not more pushing through and enduring shit. I'm tired and I want this to be done and to be over with. I am a human being. I am not a robot. I have needs and feelings, and they matter. And while anytime I try to seek guidance from Source or my higher self, it is always saying to honor myself and take care of myself and be gentle, patient, and slow down. But at the same time, I just don't see how this is... I don't see how this is... How do I say that? I don't see how this is like I know what I'm trying to say. The word is just not there. Basically, I do not understand what the force is or what source is doing. I don't understand why things are the way they are. I don't understand why it feels like I'm trying so hard for nothing. And obviously, the guidance has been to not do that and to do the opposite. And to surrender and just trust the process and go with the flow and allow myself to soften. But it's like, I don't see how that is like going to, I don't see how that's substantial or of true benefit to me, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't seem stable. Obviously, I'm in a very unstable place. I don't understand how like, obviously, if I need to care for myself more than ever, it's now, as I'm moving through a harsh period in life. Obviously, it's not to abandon myself. Obviously, I'm here now, and I have to just accept that this is where I'm at, and that obviously the only way out of any situation is through. But because I know I've put in so much work, I'm not understanding why I'm still here, and I don't understand why life hasn't reflected any ounce of like effort I've poured into myself or into my just my path. You know what I mean? Like, they always say your internal reflects the external, and I just haven't truly felt that. Mind you, I understand that I have endured karmic cycles for reasons. Like, it's not that I just am a victim by any means, but I am a human being, and I have reached my breaking point where I feel like I've done enough, and I'm tired of working. I'm overworked, underpaid in every area of my life, like spiritually, every area of my life. I feel like I'm always working and striving for something, and I can never just fucking get a break. And the irony is that I feel like I'm being directed to do that, but the thing is, I'm in an environment that is not really conducive to my well-being at all. And so it kind of feels like it's counterintuitive with my nervous system to tell me that I have to soften in a place that created the same survival mode that I live in. It's very much like canceling out if I'm being guided to rest. It's like I have to somehow find a way to rest myself in a very draining and exhausting situation. It's like no wonder I struggle with fucking softening, because my body remembers where it's at. It's not like I can just convince or be delusional about where I am and what I see every day and what I experience every day. It's very real, being around certain energies and still having to deal with certain energies and people. My body obviously remembers what it experienced, the neglect, the abuse. And while I have overcome that a lot, and I have instilled boundaries with people, with places, and with myself as much as I can, and taken back my powers a whole lot, I feel like my body is doing what it's supposed to do. It's meant to protect me. And I don't know, I sometimes feel like the guidance is like trying to force me to pretend that I'm happy with where I am, and I'm just not. or that I need to fake it till I make it, and I just refuse to be inauthentic and lie to myself. For what? Like, it doesn't do me any good to sit here and pretend. Now, does that mean that all of my joy and peace, like, should that be robbed from me by my circumstances? No. I still believe that I deserve those things, and I do my best to carve out small ways to create that given my circumstances. I'm basically having to work with what I have, which is not a whole lot, I guess, physically, but I mean, I have a whole lot internally. But even still, that feels like it's kind of limited just due to how overworked I am and exhausted I am. So I just feel like I'm tired. That's what I feel like. Yeah. It got really hot, so I turned off the heater. But anyway, what else was I saying? Now it feels very intimate because there's no background noise. What else was I saying? I mean, I'm constantly seeing that I'm in this transitioning phase where the old is being destroyed and the new is like, it's like shifting chapters or transitioning, and it's like a liminal phase in life where you just have to trust and believe and surrender control and not attach to the outcome. But I feel like any human being who feels like they're in an unjust, unfair situation that they know they've put all of their work into and they were promised justice is like, it's like it makes sense that I would be impatient with the universe and not really caring about things unfolding, because I feel like I've been allowing things to unfold and I've been persevering, and at this point it feels like, for what? Like, how can I be expected to move forward in this state? And that's why I feel like listening to my emotions is important, because I have experienced a lot of confusion. I mean, my life in general is just it's in a very confusing point where I don't really understand why things are happening like this and what is happening. And it's been challenging because I don't really feel like people, like intuitively you can just feel. I don't really feel anything. I just feel like I'm tired, and I can feel what my body urges me to do, what my spirit urges me to do, and that is focusing on self-care and softening as much as I can. I don't expect myself to be this extremely unguarded person who, like the Empress energy to a T is like very unreasonable to expect of me right now, because I'm still managing and having to juggle and regulate in a place that is not conducive to me being in that energy. So, but I can find moments of where I can feel that energy, and it's not like I'm depriving myself of any ounce of peace or joy. I do really try my best to take care of myself and do things that feel like joy and ease, because the whole guidance I felt is to follow joy. But the irony in that is that a lot of things that I want that feel in alignment with my joy are things that are about change and new experiences that I just have yet to experience. I've pretty much been sheltered in this place doing intense healing work most of my life. You know, like, and I wasn't, because this, where I live is literally the karmic cycle where I live and the people I'm surrounded by. So I've tried to figure out how I could leave many times, and like apparently like I wasn't able to leave until I completed a cycle. So, or the cycle. And since I've done that, I've learned boundaries. I've done everything my spirit asked me to do. I just don't understand why everything's taking so long and why I still have to be here. The point is that I'm sick of being here. The point is to now soften into a life that reflects my higher self, and I receive what's meant for me, and I don't have to work so fucking hard for shit. Like, what's meant for me is mine and it comes to me. But I don't really have that, if that makes sense. Like, what's meant for me has not come to me, and that's why I'm very distraught. And I've been like, okay, how do I work more towards doing this so I can receive this, and trying to like a rat with its head chopped off, trying to figure out how to receive my divine justice. And I guess the hard truth of that is that when I see a Wheel of Fortune, obviously that means it's not up to me. Apparently, I mean, obviously my actions and my choices are very much, it's like a co-creation thing. But the other part is that I'm not really in control when it comes to the timing of things. And anytime I hear slow down and be patient, it pisses me off because I'm tired of that. I've been very patient and enduring and just battling spiritual warfare and growing and evolving, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm not, there's no more to do. I've done enough. I've done all that I can. Like, it's just, it's like I could literally be trapped in a cycle of never ending healing, thinking, oh, well, I just haven't done enough, that's why. And that's just not true at all, because obviously the cards point to me having done enough and completing shit. So I'm not really understanding, but also I know me slowing down is actually, while it seems counterintuitive when you're in a very urgent, dire situation, it's like slowing down is actually what the nervous system needs when it's burnt out and under severe pressure and weight. And so I can understand that it's actually for my greatest benefit to not try to force and push my way through things. However, it doesn't make it, like, it doesn't mean I like it any less, or that I, no wait, did I say that right? I don't think I said that right, but I'm sure the point was computed, or the point was understood. Anyway, yeah. I have just been at my peak, like my breaking point. I have been there. I have collapsed essentially, and I realized, I mean, I've known it was dire. I've really struggled a lot this year with a lot of mental health and physical health things, and I'm doing everything by myself. And what really, I guess, hurts the most is feeling like I do not have the support of the universe, like or like they said, like they say they do. I don't feel that support at all, and I just don't understand a lot. Like, I'm supposed to blindly trust without ever seeing anything, like, and while I understand you have to believe it to see it, but I feel like at some point, like, I'm a human being, like, I understand I'm a spirit having a human experience, but you just cannot neglect the human aspect. Like, I have a brain, it's going to do what it does. It needs proof, it needs clarification to stop worrying. It's a very human thing, and I don't demonize myself for having that very human response, you know? But yeah. I mean, when it comes to like my path, the only ounce of clarity I have is to follow my heart, which is essentially what I have been doing this entire time. And really doing what just makes me happy, and avoiding anything that is not fulfilling, emotionally fulfilling. So, yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. You know, and I'm doing it all, like I said, by myself. I've been in intense hermit mode. That has turned into chronic isolation. But honestly, sometimes I have, like, I mean, I try to get out there and, like, connect, but ultimately, I'd rather be in isolation in my own energy than to be connecting with people that don't fulfill me or feel aligned with me. I'm not the kind of person who is going to just, you know, desperately seek out connection just because I'm not feeling well with life and there's a void I'm trying to fill, or I lack connection. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is like reflective of just inner connection. Like, I'm just not the kind of person who will seek out connections just so that I'm not, you know, alone with my thoughts and my emotions. So, yeah, and I mean, I did really try to put myself out there more to essentially find more community, but it's not something I'm chasing, and I honestly don't really, I mean, I care about having my own community and sense of family because I don't have family other than myself, but it's not something I really care to chase after. Um, because if I deserve it, why am I working so hard for it? It doesn't make sense to me. If everything I desire is already mine because it already exists, then there's no point in chasing something that already exists. It's simply a matter of just fucking embodying and calling it in. And I align with Empress energy. Like, I've spent all of my life not existing in that energy. And so I've never gotten to really feel just like supported, taken care of, or like, just by life, and safe, and just being more in my feminine energy. And I was really trying to trust that, Source supported me and would provide everything I needed, exactly what I needed it, when the time was right. And obviously, with me doing what I like, a co-creation type of thing, like I do whatever I need to do, and the universe does its part. But I have felt like I've been doing so much, and it's felt like the universe just hasn't done anything. And obviously, you don't know what goes on spiritually in the spiritual realm, so I can't just say the universe has done nothing. But what I can say is that everything has been just devastatingly slow, like just horribly slow. Like, yeah. And I'm just not really, like, my only priority now is to just try to feel as much ease as I can, because it's been tough. And I won't go into great detail, but let's just say that my will to live has just not been the best. So, and I'm not like that type of person, but like I've gotten real close to contemplating why I'm even still doing this, and what the point is, if of like just being on earth, if I'm like, if it's just one constant fucking fight all the time. It's exhausting. Like, it's exhausting. But anyway, that's how I feel about the situation. Here lately, I've just tried to express myself more, because honestly, it was so bad that I, like, doing anything just felt too much of a chore. Like, it felt like I had to perform self-love. It felt like I had to prove to the universe or to life why I deserved what I deserved, and why I need what I need to sustain myself. Like, it felt like I had to, like, explain why certain things were harmful to me, and why I needed the things I needed. Like it's literally gotten to that point where it feels like I'm not allowed to have needs, like, to sustain myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, if I feel affected by something, I'm supposed to just heal my emotions and go within, so that I don't feel that way and don't feel affected by it. But it's literally there for a reason. My emotions are simply a signal. And one thing I have learned throughout all of this, even when my intuition has felt foggy, like I couldn't really hear it, is that my body is literally telling me exactly what is for me and what's not for me, based on how I feel, and like, what's true and what's not true, because my body is intelligent and it knows. And if anything makes my anxiety or my nervous system frazzled, it's not for me. It's my body literally screaming at me that this is not safe and this is not for us. And I've had to learn how to listen to those feelings. But like, the only thing that feels right to me is stillness, and just taking time to care for myself and do nothing. Like, not performing, not constantly doing, just existing and being. Like, if I go out into nature, I find myself constantly just doing that anyway, like just existing in the present, because there's no need to force or rush or act on anything. I'm simply just existing. And so nature has been, I guess, a huge help with recalibrating my nervous system, but also just giving me gentle guidance, especially as I look to the animals within nature. You know, they're just being. They're not exactly striving for anything. They're simply just being. Like, I look at the dogs that I have here, and they're just living in the moment. They're not worried about the future or, thinking about the past. They're simply just existing as dogs. And I feel like, and it's in the present moment, and I feel like, being present, like, there's no room for worry or anxiety because you're simply being. I think being is very important. But being present was a little more difficult when I felt like I had to achieve something, because life isn't aligning as quickly as I needed to. So let me keep overachieving. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just need to do more. And that's just not the case. I feel like I need to do actually just far more less, and just release a lot of the heavy baggage and burdens. And so, yeah, because my rage, this whole thing has like ignited such a rage within me as a result of feeling like life has just been horribly unfair, and that the universe has not stood on their word. You know what I mean? And it's just caused a lot of rage, very harmful but powerful rage that just wants to destroy. And even with that, I'm having to learn how to control and manage that very powerful and intense feeling. Because I mean, rage is essentially a very powerful form of creation energy, and it's literally life force. And so, but creating can be anything, and it doesn't solely have to be me making art. You know what I mean? Like, because I've also just felt the heavy burden of needing to build this career, and it's like I don't even have the capacity to really wash my own ass consistently. Like when I say depression, I'm talking depression. Like, so I just had to, for one, I started journaling again, and it really helped. And it's just allowing me to get it out of my system. Expression is the only way I can feel better. I can lift the weight off of me. And so, I've been consistently trying to do that. And, it's nice writing again, but I didn't feel like writing at this moment. I just wanted to speak it, so that's why I am doing this. What I can say is, though, that self-care might not always, it's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you are struggling, like, self-care isn't automatically going to make everything better, And I do feel like you can still feel like shit even if you're taking care of yourself, especially if you're dealing with just a lot of shit. Like, demonizing feelings is so emotionally immature because you feel that way for a reason. And I'm not going to punish myself for not feeling okay because it's okay that I'm not okay. All I can do is honor myself and really truly care for myself as best as I can. And honestly, I can say that I have felt a little more peace the more I just took a step back and I had to just essentially give up, not on myself, but just on everything I was striving for, and surrender and just release expectation and control and attachment to everything outside of me caring for myself because it just wasn't good for me. And my only job was to give myself the space to exist, create, and do what makes me happy. And so, honestly, it's really freed me a lot. But I feel like softening into femininity really requires trust, not only in self, but in the divine, which is essentially a reflection of self. But trusting that everything is going to work out and you are supported, even if I may not see it or feel it. That's like the only way my body can ever fully relax and ease into softness more. Not saying that I expect myself to be completely softened because that's really, like I said earlier, unrealistic given that I am literally in survival mode, but I don't think that that means I can't still have moments of softness and ease and joy. And yeah, just essentially, like I said earlier, working with what I have as best as I can, even though I desire more. And that's like the whole point. But anyway, that's how I feel. So I'm really glad I did this because I do feel a lot better and I like the idea of speaking to myself. I'm connecting with myself essentially, and it is very healing to talk to myself like this. I mean, I likely will share this for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I'm making a video. Why not share it? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to follow the inspired action nudges and not doing things because I feel like I have to, doing things that just feel aligned and natural. And because I made this, I naturally feel inclined to just post it, but with no expectation whatsoever. I'm not looking to really build anything right now. I mean, that is still a goal in mind with this platform, but right now I'm just here to exist. And I don't know, maybe somebody else needs to hear this. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, it's just that I've been really accepting that it's okay to not be okay and to not force yourself to feel okay when you're not okay. Like you're not okay for a reason, and life doesn't have to be perfect to still find the beauty and joy within it. And even if you're in a very low place where, like for me, for example, you really wanted something, but wanting it you became too attached to where it took away even from experiencing the very minuscule beauties of what you could have experienced in the present moment. And so even though I do deal with a lot of restriction and limitations with what I can really experience because I've, like I said, been sheltered most of my life. And my the way my life is set up is my karmic cycle, I feel a part of it was experiencing heavy restriction and limitation, and and like the paradox is freeing myself from within Yeah. We get it. Yeah. But, you just gotta let go, honestly. Like, at some point, the apathy just has to come where you just stop caring, and that's where I've just reached that peak of just, I'm pretty much not even here. Like, I don't want to be here. I'm not here. Almost like dissociating, but not trying to dissociate from myself, because then that can just be very harmful, and that will lead to not really wanting to be on this earth even more, when you really are not in your body and you detach from yourself like that. But one thing I've discovered is, even when I felt more dissociating, like, I never tried to self-abandon, and my whole point, or my whole, I guess, intention while dealing with this heavy shit is to make sure I honor myself as best as I can. But I think a result of feeling such heavy turmoil and just grief and devastation is that you kind of become numb and desensitized and just very apathetic at a point. It's like your body's natural defense mechanism. And so, yeah, but I wasn't, like, I was so depressed that I wasn't speaking to myself. I just started, like I said, really connecting with myself again and trying to go back home within. But, like, I just really felt like I didn't want to speak. I just didn't want to do anything. And speaking to myself is what is necessary, because I'm a Gemini moon in my third house. So the way I feel safe in my emotions is literally, like I said, by me expressing myself. If I'm not expressing myself, I can't really process my emotions, and I don't feel safe in my emotions if not me having some form of expression. If not for me having some form of expression, but anyway, yeah. I'm really happy I did this, like I said, and timing. The timing of everything is driving me mad. And having to detach from the timing of things is very difficult. But I guess one paradoxical thing is that me actually slowing down could actually be the quickest way into, everything I want, instead of trying to force it. So some days it's harder than others to accept that. I just try not to really, at least what I have been for the last few days, is just not really think about it and just focus on the present moment, and continue honoring myself and doing actions that are aligned with my highest good. So, yeah, and actions don't always have to be work, like difficult, hard work. It could simply be resting as a form of action. I just feel like that grind set mentality is very harmful and it's not beneficial. And me in this situation, it's not going to improve by me grinding my way out, because I've already tried that. And it's just not great for me, and I would not, like, it's inadvertently harming me, even though I'm trying to do what's best for myself, essentially, like, help myself, but it's inadvertently harming me, and I'm inadvertently punishing myself for not having life figured out yet, and it not coming together yet. So forcing is just not the way to go, and taking a step back was really necessary. Because, yeah, grinding through it was not going to ever work. It just wasn't. And I keep pulling the Empress too. The Empress literally does not grind for shit. She embodies and she attracts. So, and I may not be able to completely embody given all I'm managing, but I can have very great moments of embodying my true essence to the point where it becomes stable enough. And I mean, it's not that I'm unstable, because I've built a lot of stability within myself. It's just that I've had some tower moments that have shaken me up physically, mentally, spiritually, that have had a huge effect on my body, like the stress of it. And the tower moment was literally me, if that makes sense. Like, the tower moment was literally me collapsing and being overworked to the point where I could not go on like that because it wasn't healthy. So, health is very important. And being in a stressful situation, in an environment, it's not easy. It's really difficult, honestly. So, I mean, all I can really do is try my best, you know what I mean? And just trust that I'm not stuck here, because I felt trapped for a long time. And trust that I've done my work. Not that I should have had to work to earn my way out, but basically what I'm saying is I've completed the cycle. After a long, egregious, how many years of my life? I mean, it was lifelong, because I've been dealing with this shit all of my life, but I didn't start to heal until I was like 16. So 16 is when I like started to take back my power. So yeah, and I'm 22 now, so it's been a lot of time spent healing and doing shadow work and going within the deepest, darkest depths of my being and facing myself. But one thing I can say is that I did it, and I did it all alone with no support as a teenager. Like, you don't know true strength until you have spiritual warfare. But like, as a fucking child, essentially, and you have no support at all, and you have to literally go within and be that for yourself. And I've pretty much had to do that all of my life, like support myself, because I didn't have parents. So I've always been emotionally mature and dependent on myself, but really loving yourself at 16 is commendable, because most people don't even do that in their entire lifetime. People are terrified of facing themselves. That's why people have addictions, and they're desperate for connection outside of themselves. And you know what I'm saying? There's a whole list of reasons why people will abandon themselves, because they're too afraid to face themselves. But I did that, and you know what? I deserve my flowers. I did a lot of hard shit, bro. I don't know how I did it. I like have the power and the strength of some otherworldly force within me, because this shit is not for the weak. It's just not. It's not. But loving myself through it makes it fucking doable, bro. Like, if I abandoned myself, I would not be able to do this. And for a moment there, the dissociating kind of nearly got to that point, and it was terrible. But when I come back to myself, I realize how having the connection with myself really makes this shit worth it. And I don't feel alone knowing that I have myself and we're doing this together. So, yeah. Letting go is not easy, but it's doable. The only way to let go, like, there's no, I guess, way to let go other than you just have to simply divert your attention to something else. And I mean, thoughts of me, like, I'm a control freak. I have lived in unstable environments all of my life, so I feel safe when I can predict and control how life is going to happen. Like, I'm ready, I'm prepared, I know what's coming. When I don't know what's coming or how things are unfolding and what's going to happen, I do not like it, and it frightens me. Like, the unknown, while I do like the unknown, I simultaneously am afraid of the unknown because I like to know everything. But that has never kept me from facing the unknown. I wouldn't be here if I didn't go through the unknown into my darkest depths within myself. So the unknown isn't bad, and it's actually where true change can arise because it's unfamiliar. But this is one of those things where it's like, it's regarding my outer stability as it pertains to like my living conditions, and not really knowing about that can be stressful. But I mean, I do trust that one day everything I need and desire and long for and, you know, moved towards will be in my hands. I'll be able to feel it and see it and look at it. Oh, what? I just said that. Never mind. Yeah. That doesn't make it easier though. It doesn't make it easier because I want it now. I'm impatient. I'm at a point where I'm so impatient, so I don't really care. So that's why I literally have to force myself into letting it go because I just can't deal. I have to do it for my health. I can't stress. The stress is literally fucking killing me. I can't do it. So, you know, you gotta let go and let God, even though, like, I don't believe in, like, that type of God. It's not in that way, you know? Like, I'm not a religious person. Yeah, nah. I'm a more freer, internal kind of person, like, where the God is within me and it's not outside of me, like how religion teaches. It's like, it's me. I'm a reflection of it. It's my higher self. So, anyway. Yeah. Trust is a big one. Leap of faith. Like, the faith part. That's literally the hardest part. I've tried to, like, if you have no trust, it's just like, it makes everything so much more difficult. Like, I can do as much as I want to do, but without trust, I'm miserable. I'm not feeling safe and secure if I don't have trust that everything is going to work out for me better than I expected in a way that honors where I'm at in life, and I don't have to grind for it. You know what I mean? Like, So, anyway. Yeah, I think I'm done now. I've gotten it all out. Yeah. Goodbye.